thank you for joining us today for an overview on HP's education product roadmap. My name is Kelly Waldock, and I'm the Director of End User Technology at PDS. Today, I'll be joined by a few of my colleagues, Amanda Harold and Andrew Albrecht from our public sector team, as well as Lisa Messner with HP. Before we jump into our presentation, I wanted to take this opportunity to provide you with a brief update on the current state of our industry and the impact that COVID-19 continues to have on our supply chain. I'm sure all of you were as anxious as I was to see last year come to an end. And while there is a lot we should be optimistic about in 2021, many of those same challenges we faced last year will continue to impact us throughout this year. We continue to have unprecedented industry-wide product and component shortages. This is experienced across all manufacturers, resellers, and distributors across multiple product lines. Depending on the specific product you're looking to order, lead times can be anywhere from 12 weeks to 6 months. These delays will continue throughout the first half of this year and potentially longer if the demand grows. Cost increases may become unavoidable, with both component and logistics suppliers increasing their costs to manufacturers. Placing your orders now will not only help ensure you get the equipment when you need it, but it will also save you money. By sharing this information with you, our goal is to help you plan accordingly. Keep your initiatives for the 2021-2022 school year on track and also avoid potential price increases. We've asked our partner, Lisa Messner, to join us today and provide us with an education-specific product roadmap. So with that, I'd like to hand this over to Lisa.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us at this year's brainstorm event. We just wanted to give you an overview of what you can expect from HP this year and reinforce some of the messages that Kelly just gave you about availability challenges, what we expect to see going forward, and just give you some of the future information. So this is really a look out at 2021, which means if you have product on order already, this messaging is really for your next purchase. Anything that you have on order, we absolutely are letting you know that just keep those orders in place. You're already in the queue and we don't want to disrupt anything there. But we'll be giving you some dates today, some information on future products, and we really want to set the tone for what do you look at moving forward. So let's get started. All right. So little overview, I've been with HP for about 24 years now. I've been tied to PDS for that long, and you may have seen me before behind the scenes, but I am an HP resource that can be utilized to get you to the right folks at HP or to absolutely help you with any of your questions that you may have with your partner. So if you need to contact me, just so you know, in the corner where you see my picture, that is my email address, and I'm happy to work with you on any questions that you might have. So let's talk about what you're going to see today. The world has changed. So reinforcing what Kelly just said, we are seeing unprecedented demand as well as shortages all at the same time. What does that mean? We'll kind of walk through that with each product, what you can expect. Really what's being impacted behind the scenes right now are IC chips and glass. Both of those things are very in demand and very short supply. And we're just struggling day to day to get those in-house and shipped out. So you may see this affect other things that you didn't know about. There are IC chips in displays, for example. There are IC chips in docks. So we're seeing some issues there also. For any product that you're interested in, I'm just going to encourage you, reach out to your PDS account managers. They'll be able to help guide you on what best to look at and how to move forward. So let's get started with the rest of the introduction on products and solutions that are coming out in 2021. So one of the things that we know that you're facing every day is this change to how your students, how your teachers are learning in their home, maybe in school, or maybe a hybrid. Right now, there are about 1.5 billion children that are trying to adjust and work within these 3 parameters. So we know that that has thrown your life also into quite a spin and trying to identify how do you make these solutions work for your kids. We also know that kids are trying to work at home, but sometimes they're at Starbucks with mom and dad trying to learn. They need a solution that is as flexible and portable as their new lives are. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about what you can expect here. We've also looked at education in 3 different segments at HP. So we look at it through K through 5, we look at it at middle school, that grades 6 through 8, and we also look at high school. We realize that it may not be the same solution all 3 groups are looking at. So we want to let you know that we really identify what does each group need. So I think some of you may say that every group needs rugged, but we really do see that rugged design very instrumental in the K through 8 space. Design overall becomes important though when you're in high school too. They want to carry something that looks good, that works well for them. As they get older, they're looking for a little bit different specificity than maybe the younger children are. We're also looking at what's overall important to them and to you is security. How does it perform? Security could be everything from malware to, drops. Does it sustain drops very well? Does it sustain being thrown in a bag 4 or 5 times a day? So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Speaking of that, we call this education rugged. So what does that mean? You're going to find rubber bumpers around edges. You're going to find more security built in to make these more manageable from an enterprise experience. Testing a physical test or mil-spec testing is true for all of our products. We put them through pretty rigorous challenges at HP. We do drop tests, we do hot and cold tests. Obviously, we know some of the times the kids will leave these in the car overnight. Will they sustain the temperature changes? Also spill tests, they might be eating over them and spill on top of that. And that's true for teachers too. Then above and beyond just the normal mil-spec testing, we do certain things that are specific to our education lineup. So being yanked, plugging and unplugging the power adapter. We've reinforced those power adapter plugs because we know that children are maybe not as easy on those as adults might be. So there's a number of different things that we put as a criteria into our education product that's above and beyond just our mil-spec testing. So here's the overall lineup. This is from soup to nuts, what we can offer. We even have more. Really, you don't have to worry too much about that. That's why you use people like Andrew and Amanda to help you level set. What am I looking at? And what should I be focused on for my teachers, for my students in the year moving forward? But here's a quick glimpse. So you see that there's everything from Chromebook to ProBook to Elite products listed on here. We're going to try and help you understand what's coming. The first thing, this is the 11-inch clamshell type device. So this comes in both an Intel version and a MediaTek version. The first thing that we'll talk about is MediaTek. In the description itself, you see MK behind the 11-inch. What that means is MediaTek. So that's how you can define which one we're talking about. The first thing I would say in general about this 11-inch clamshell is it's the world's thinnest 11-inch rugged Chromebook for education. That comes in jet black. It passes the mil-spec tests. But what you're also going to see that's new this year is really a fantastic battery life. I haven't heard battery life being too much of an issue recently, but you're looking about 16-hour battery life on this MediaTek solution. This also comes with a Qualcomm wireless adapter. Again, world's thinnest and most rugged product. But the one thing I wanted to mention too, it can also be cleaned. So we know in the time of COVID that a lot of folks, and with children in general, that a lot of folks want to clean their products. This is something that we've taken from our healthcare lineup and put into our other mobility solutions and our desktops. So the ability to clean these products with household cleaners is really key. So you can take a cleaner, a wipe, and wipe down around the screen, on the keyboard, etc. First of all, just for spills or children's fingers on there, but secondly, again, for COVID. We've also really reinforced the keyboard. So you'll find that it's a great experience, that they're pick resistant. And I would tell you that the keyboard has just come a long way in the last generation or so. Again, some of these things, these traits, you're going to see across the board in product, and some have something maybe just a little bit newer. So I would tell you, The Intel version, exactly the same as the MediaTek, as it's the world's thinnest rugged Chromebook for education out there, again in jet black. The difference is obviously around the processor. So we have the Intel processor on here. It is a multi-core processor. And we've also going to see a little bit different on the wireless solution. It is a Wi-Fi 6 from Intel. So if you're a customer that chooses to go with Intel, just know it's got the latest, greatest Wi-Fi solution in it. Again, same kind of setup, setup for cleaning, setup with a durable keyboard, et cetera, et cetera. So you're starting to see that we're implementing the same solutions across the board. And again, passes the mil-spec tests.
And Lisa, will availability for the MediaTek versus the Intel be around the same, or
it
is
should
one
be
to be available sooner?
Yeah, great question, Amanda. It should be about the same. We'll know a lot more as we come into summer. Just be aware, both these solutions will be available to order on April 1st. The MediaTek's available now. The Intel will be available April 1st, and we anticipate availability in the summertime. Great question. Thank you. On the Chromebook X360, so just like with the clamshell device, we have two products here. We have a MediaTek option, and we also offer an Intel version. So let's get started on this. In the MediaTek space, you will see that, again, it's the octa-core processor that you're going to find here, and really built for durability, even in that X360 environment where they may be porting it over to a tablet device or a notebook environment. Especially on the battery, you're going to see huge improvement here. So again, about 16 hours on the X360 also. Intuitive touch screens and just a very nice solution overall in the MediaTek. Now let's talk about Intel. This is a little different. Unlike the clamshells, there is a little different body style to the Intel. So I just want to bring that to your attention. What you're going to see in the next picture is a picture of the keyboard that allows you to garage store your pen. Okay, so again, Wi-Fi 6 on this, just like it was on the clamshell Intel solution, but let's show you that garaged pen. So at the top of the keyboard itself, you'll find a slot where the pen slips into, and this allows the pen to recharge as well as not be lost, hopefully, by the student. So it will really travel with them at all times, right in the body of the notebook itself. So that is a new solution. It is very specifically to the X360 Intel product only in the Chromebook space. Okay. The other thing that you can do with the Intel is you can add optional cameras. So you can have dual camera solutions. If that's something your students are looking for, I highly recommend that you consider the X360 Intel version. Now, for teachers, maybe even high schoolers, let's consider the Chromebook 14-inch. So this is a purpose-built product. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting the larger screen, a little bit better and larger keyboard also for those bigger hands. You also have reliable Wi-Fi, a very long battery life for a 14-inch screen, and more security options so that as a teacher, you have a little bit of more flexibility on what kind of security you have on your unit. So what's new, what's different from the G6, which is still available, but the G7 will be announced again on April 1st. So in this model, what's different? You're going to have touch as an option. So you can either go with touch or non-touch. We will have the latest, greatest Intel processor again, as well as Wi-Fi 6. That's really key changes for this particular model. Any questions on Chrome? Otherwise, I'm done with Chrome. Okay. Feel free to call me or email me at any time if you do have questions. But let's roll into the notebooks. Again, we see this as a potential option for teachers and maybe even your high school students as we move forward. So what is new? In a lot of the ProBook series, all the Intel are being re-swizzled with the latest, greatest processor here. They're also being upgraded with a better graphics card. So you're going to see us enhancing graphics across the board, which is really allowing you, for those power users, not to maybe necessarily have to add a graphics card after the fact. Okay, so the one thing I want to mention across all of our notebook announcements, thinner and lighter. You're going to see that over and over again, also smaller bodies. So we'll show you a little bit of an example of that as we roll through here. Also, the keyboards continue to enhance. Little rubber pads have been put around each one of the keys. We've also increased the letter size. So if you're anything like me, getting a little older, it's nice to have the bigger letters to see when you're typing away. Also, brighter screens. So especially in the 400 space where maybe the screens didn't have quite the nit level or the brightness level of some of our higher end, you're seeing that technology roll down into the 400 space. So you're going to see brighter screens also. So here's the lineup on the Intel. Again, offers in 13, 14, and 15 inch. On the 15 inch, you'll always get the 10 key keypad on the keyboard itself. So just be aware. Also the integrated cameras. I'm going to talk to you about an X360 option in this family, tied to AMD though, in just a minute. So again, you see this a little bit, screen's a little bigger. As far as the bezels have shrunk, allowing us to make that just a little bit of a lighter solution. So what does it look like? Here's a side-by-side for each one. So you see that the size of the screen has shrunk, the size of the body has shrunk, which is wonderful, and also the weight has shrunk. So we're looking at about 2.5 pounds on a lot of these units. One other change is that we've changed the body, what the material makeup is for these. So these are anodized aluminum now. They used to be a composite blend of products, but now they're made out of a harder anodized aluminum to ensure that when we're talking security, when we're talking mil specs, it's really hitting all those points. All right, so you can expect to see a much more resilient, much more rugged product in the 400 series now. Again, technology that was in the 800 series is now rolling down into the 400 series. And that's true across the board. Both AMD and Intel have these new body styles. We've also changed the screen, how it meets the keyboard. So we have something called a lift anywhere on all of our products. So no more do you have to shove your fingernail in and try and get that lid off. Now it's called lift anywhere, so you'll always have a little bit of an edge that you can easily grasp to open up your screen. And removable bottom covers. So very easy to service, very manageable. We've got self-capturing screws. So for anyone that's tried to take screws off the back, doing services and loses a few of them, just know that they're magnetic. They are also all the same size. So you won't have to worry about losing one and trying to replace it with another one, but now it's not the same size. So we've simplified that for servicing the products. Okay, so just like we talked about with Intel, we have similar offerings in AMD, should you look at that. And here are the side-by-side, both the 14 and the 15 inch here. There is no 13 inch AMD, just be aware of that. But again, much better solution, right around that 2.5 to 3 pounds, depending on how you configure it. And again, the 15 inch has that optional 10 key keypad on it and the latest, greatest AMD Ryzen chipset. So here's a quick look. Again, these are cleanable. So if you are using wipes on these, that's absolutely fine. That's what they've been built for. They, again, are purpose-built for your environment so that they can be cleaned. They've also got quite a bit of new security offerings. If you have any questions on those, feel free to reach out to PDS and they'll be able to help you with that. In addition to what we've just talked about, while we didn't have a 13 inch clamshell device in the AMD, we do offer a 13 inch X360 device. So this is called the 435 X360. So if you have teachers or students that are looking for a device that can operate as a tablet or a notebook, this is the solution for you. Again, AMD only, 360 degrees, meaning it can convert all the way around, and also has the world-facing camera. So great solution. If you need to try one out or you want to look at one in your environment, don't hesitate to let Andrew and Amanda know. So let's move up into the ProBook 600, how that's changed and what you can expect there. So again, similar mil-spec testing, similar product and design. Again, you're seeing that same theme kind of roll through our products, a little bit thinner, a little bit nicer. You can also see the very thin bezels on the edge, on the top and on the bottom. And that's really what's driving this thinner, lighter solution. Unfortunately, we're running out of real estate. So where the 400 has historically always used a USB-C port or dock, in the 600 space, you no longer can use the side dock any longer also. So just be aware that with the real estate change, we really had to think long and hard about what we could do for conserving real estate so that we can get to that thinner, lighter space. And unfortunately, one of the things we had to give up was the side dock. So for those of you that have been using it, it's been out there for about 10 years, just know that if you need a different docking solution, work with Amanda, work with Andrew. They can talk to you about Thunderbolt or USB-C options. Both will work with this environment. Okay. So I just wanted to mention, yes.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
With them getting thinner and lighter, is the 650 option able to have the DVD drive in there still? Or
it is not.
Okay,
nope,
so it's
it is not. But you can do RJ45. Okay. On any of these, you can still do RJ45 as an option. In the 600 and the 400 space, you cannot in the 800 space. Okay, but great question. Unfortunately, yep, the DVD drive or the optical drive was one thing that we had to move away from. If you still need that, I would encourage you to look in maybe the professional workstation space. Okay. All right, so again, side-by-side comparisons, you're definitely seeing the shrinkage, the size and the weight difference. Also, we do offer this Intel version in a 13, 14, and 15 inch. Crisp lines, I can't stress enough how nice that easy lift feature is on our new notebooks. The other thing is, just like the 400, we're using an anodized aluminum in this space also. Okay, very nice product. We do also offer this in the AMD versions. And I will tell you, we are coming out with a very light 635. So anything that ends in a 5 is our AMD. It isn't quite available today, but very soon in the March-April timeframe, you're going to see a sub 2.1 pound option in the 635 notebook space. So let us know if you're interested in that, and we'll get you the specs and information on that as soon as possible. But again, very rugged design. When we're talking to anodized aluminum, you're just going to feel the screen's a lot more rigid so that you can pick it up by the screen. I wish people didn't, but they do. We all know that they do, and this one can take a little bit more of a beating than the predecessor. All right, so let's talk about 800. Just like Amanda was asking, what are you giving up to get to this lighter, thinner solution? In the 800, you're giving up a little bit more. So now RJ45s really aren't an option here anymore. If you need a dongle, those are available, just so you know. But we will not have the space or the real estate for an RJ45 to be optionally added here. This is our enterprise level product. Again, comes in the Intel space, comes in 13, 14, 15, as well as the X360. The 600 also had the 10-key keypad, as does the 800, in the 15-inch version only. So if you've got folks in engineering classes, if you have folks in accounting classes, if you have teachers that need that 10-key keypad, just keep in mind that is available in the 15-inch space. And this is your lineup from Intel today. So what's new? 11th gen processor. This is specifically the 8th generation to our 800 series. It is shipping now and should run throughout 2021 and well into 2022. So you're definitely getting a long life cycle here with this product. If you're looking for longest life cycle, I always encourage you to look at the 800 series. We're also incorporating new security into this, something called Tile. You may have seen this before on keys, especially me, I'm always losing my car keys. There's a little tile fob you can put on your car keys, and that way you can always see it on your phone. We're incorporating that same technology and putting it into the 800 series and into the 1000 series from HP. So just be aware that that's out there. My guess is next generation 600 and 400, you're going to see that technology trickle down, but we're starting with our high-end enterprise products. Again, just like the 600, no longer can use the side dock here. You're definitely going to want to look or consider a Thunderbolt device or a USB-C dock device.
Lisa, to confirm, the Tile feature has to be
Yes.
configured to order a CTO, not a in-stock Smart Buy system, correct? Or are they making Smart Buys with the Tile?
Very great question. It should be across the board that technology is there. What you do need to know about Tile is that the solution works on a unit by unit basis right now. This is our first iteration. So what that means is if I get a unit in for John Doe, I will go in and set up the BIOS to have the Tile turned on for his computer. Right now, it is not something that you can run and manage from an enterprise basis. That's coming. But again, this is version 1. So we're really excited about this right now, but just know that this will continue to evolve over the next generations of product. And I really expect by the next generation or as a firmware upgrade, you're going to see management so that you can look at this and host it as a company, as an enterprise, so you can see all of your units.
That's a really neat feature.
Great solution for high school, for sure.
100%.
We're teachers.
Lisa, do you know what that adds to the cost of the build?
It doesn't add anything. It's a free add-on. That is considered something in our security suite. So we're adding that automatically. Great question. Any other questions about notebooks or Chromebooks at all? No? Okay. So let's talk about displays. Unfortunately, these are also being impacted by the shortage. They are also being impacted by some price increases. So just be aware that it's, as Kelly mentioned earlier, the earlier you put your orders in right now, the better you're going to be. 1, we're going to be able to help you with your rollouts over the summer. And 2, we're also going to probably get the best price because we don't see this trend ending in 2021. Unfortunately, we just have such limited availability on certain components. There's so few manufacturers of a lot of these components that we continue to see pricing going up. We are trying to be very mindful on how we package a lot of this product. So when you get your boxes, they will look a little bit different. We're using a lot of pulp material now to pack instead of styrofoam. We're trying to be more mindful of sustainability, but we're also trying to get them in lighter units so the shipping costs are much reduced, because with all the prices going up on components, we're just doing everything we can to try and keep the price at flat to you or minimal increase. So just be aware that you may see some changes in delivery of packaged products, how they look and how they feel, but all of that's being done not to sacrifice any of the delivery styles, but mostly just to help with costs tied to delivery. Okay. So in our 2021 commercial displays, I'm going to show you some new things, but what I really want you to focus on, and I would say the same is true for Chromebooks, don't try and use flexibility as a weapon for you to make sure you can grab product. In this odd time, I would say be as flexible as you can to what's available. Because right now, I would say I can't guarantee everything's going to be available this harvest season or during the summer. I would say be as flexible as you can. Consider looking at a monitor that is very run-of-the-mill, so to speak. When we get to very specialized monitors, those are the ones that are typically harder to get. My guess is this is something you guys are already looking at, but just be aware a 24-inch monitor is the most common size right now. So when you're looking at what can I do to ensure that I get product this year, shoot for the products that are the most common, because that's where we're going to find the most availability. So specifically in displays, you want to definitely consider a 24-inch monitor. We've revamped our displays. They're all being updated. The P's or the professional, those are what we call essential. The E's or the elite are just what they say, they're elite. And then we have the Z series, which is typically used with our Z products that are workstation grade. 24-inch again is essential to look at, especially in the elite space. That's where we're going to see the most availability. Okay. All right, just like our notebooks, our displays go through rigorous testing. So we drop them, we bend them, we do everything we can. We put them in a freezer, which is good because sometimes they're in my trunk in Wisconsin, so we know that they get the freezer effect here. But we really do put those through the same testing as we put our notebooks through. One thing that you're going to see again, I know this sounds a little bit redundant, but shrinking bezels. So just like on our notebooks, we're shrinking the bezels on our screens also. Gets you a much cleaner look, especially when you're putting displays together. You're going to see just a real thin bezel, and it's just elegant to look at. Okay. We're also working on resolution. So you're going to see a lot more QHD out there. You're going to see a lot more 4K announced moving forward. We also have USB-C docking displays. So if you're looking to clean up maybe administration areas, you want a very clean space, we have docking displays maybe in labs. That's an option to look at also. And again, going back to the how do we pack things, you can see an example of this in the middle of this presentation or this slide. You can see how we're changing how we pack displays. So you may have noticed that recently. I know that 6 months ago, my display was not packaged the same way, and now it's completely different. It just utilizes the space better. It's cutting down on the cost of delivery. Also, a little bit less that you have to throw away.
Lisa, does the docking monitor have a in it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Does the docking monitor have a webcam as part of the monitor in it?
It does in the 24 and the 27-inch. In the 22-inch, it does not.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought so. It's becoming a popular option just because you don't need, your desk is a lot more clean.
Right. And with the work from home,
Mm-hmm.
it just cuts out having to have your notebook open, right? Yeah. So it's really a nice solution. The other thing you're going to see us coming out with, and this is going to trickle into our notebooks in the next generation, is something called IEs. That's HP's tagline for it. Basically, if you have any users that are very sensitive to their eyes in using their displays day over day, or they're wearing those yellow glasses to help them with their eye strain, we're going to incorporate something called IEs into our displays. That's coming out this generation. If you want to find out which units have that, or you need it for specific users or many users, just let Andrew and Amanda know. They'll get you to the right solution. I just want to introduce you to this technology, because over the next 6 to 9 months, you're going to see this start to trickle into our notebooks also. So now all of a sudden, you're going to get a little less eye strain. You're going to see people squinting just a little bit less that maybe should be wearing glasses. And I'm not saying that because that's me, but it is me. So if you have questions on IEs, I have documents about it, and I'd be happy to send you information in addition to this. So with that, we're kind of getting towards the end of our presentation, but I wanted to come out and let you know that HP is addressing this hybrid technology or hybrid teaching environment. We know that kids oftentimes have choices to be at home 100% of the time, be at school 100% of the time, or be in this hybrid environment. So how do you as an IT professional really adopt this hybrid and get the solutions that you need to go forward? So we know that 2021, again, new year, having to look at bringing new solutions forward. What kind of things, we did some surveys to identify what kind of things do you need to make this possible. So we have case studies out there. If you're interested in any of those, we can get you more detail. But here's basically what we found is that you need to give the kids and the parents choice. Half of the students are all working remote. Again, could be home, could be a babysitter, could be Starbucks. You never quite know. And we want this to be as much of a physical experience like they would be in school as possible. So how do we get there? And here's kind of the mock-up of what we're considering. This is in a perfect environment, how you could teach in both a live one-to-one as well as a hybrid solution with children at home or students at home. So lots of things going on here. I just want to wet your whistle in that we're looking at this. I'm going to show you the results of what we found and how this all works. But more importantly, I think, call us and ask us, and what can I do in my environment? Let us know what you have set up right now. Do you have Polycom in there? Do you have different solutions? Are you using conference rooms for certain things? Or do your individual classrooms have capabilities already or not? Because this solution isn't a one size fits all. It's not a bundled solution that we can just resell because everyone's got the same environment. You know your environment and you know how it's set up classroom by classroom to adapt to this into this hybrid environment that you're looking at. So let us know how we can help you. But these are the results of the case study we found. We need the students to be able to hear and see and interact with the class, right? So they really feel like they're part of the classroom, even though physically they may not be there. We also want workflows to go very well. We want homework, everything to be fluid and going to students in the room as well as at home. There shouldn't be big changes or differences with how that's delivered to the students. We also don't want a lot of extra support that you have to do for your environments. So we're trying to look at this from the student perspective, from the IT perspective, and how can we bring the best solution to bear? Lots of information on this. Again, it's not a one size fits all. This is just a quick look at the different solutions that we have to fit this, but you may have some of these technologies in your environment. So let us know how we can help. And really, I just wanted to give you a quick taste. We have educators that are happy to help you from HP, as well as the team from PDS on how to move forward with this hybrid environment. Okay, and with that, I will turn it back to Kelly.
Thanks so much, Lisa. In closing, I'd like to thank you for your time today. As a quick reminder, PDS is on the state of Wisconsin contract for HP, so please don't hesitate to reach out to us for immediate needs. Your HP and PDS teams will do everything possible to work hard to help you avoid potential price increases. But if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. By planning early and having these conversations now, we can help alleviate some of the challenges and pain that everyone experienced last year. Please know that PDS and HP are committed to helping you navigate through all of this. Thank you, and we hope to see everyone in person next year.